Hello everyone, and welcome to this video interview at 6G World. My name's Alex Lawrence, I'm the managing editor, and I'm here with Professor David Soldani from the University of New South Wales. David was recently a speaker at the 6G Symposium this spring and has just released a new white paper that you'll be able to read in depth on the 6G World site. But we're fortunate in having David here to join us today and talk a little bit about this paper about the vision and enabling technologies on 6G. Thanks, David.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah. So, David, you're talking here sort of very broadly about, well, the subtitle is Towards Trustworthy and Resilient Systems. And I was wondering if you could just sort of share some of your thinking behind, why you put the paper together and, why now?
Yeah, I think it's now the time for us to share different views and opinions, and I really appreciated the work done globally. So there are many initiatives, and so what I thought was to take this opportunity to consolidate the many ongoing actions. I'm thinking of, in particular, the one ongoing in Europe, Finland with the 6G flagship, but also the money invested here in Australia, in the United States, South Korea, Japan, within the Union themselves, China. And therefore, this paper, what does in practice, consolidates the different views, requirements, and then depicts a vision of 2030, which is about, say, stressing the fact that we are in front of 5 key trends, let's call it that way. Mm-hmm. So that means that we go towards a centralized intelligence. We have the intelligence placed at the edge for obvious reasons, reduced latency. Then we have a need of artificial intelligence. And I was also thinking of the importance of the digitalization. So we need to have everything digital to reduce the greenhouse gas emissions. And then that's why we have 6G. It is about capturing the shifting paradigm from the Internet of Things to the Internet of Intelligence, which I like to define as functions with ability of representing knowledge, processing knowledge, and making decisions. That's pretty much the vision disclosed in this work, among many things. It's of course intended that the new system has to be resilient to any internal or external attacks, which means for us to think about the security controls to detect and respond those attacks in real time.
Okay, thanks. That's a lot to bring together. Something that you were mentioning there about the idea of the Internet of Intelligence. I wonder if you can talk a bit more about that, because at one point you sort of share a vision in your document about, among other things, the idea of machine reasoning meeting machine learning at the edge. And I think probably most people these days know about machine learning and some of those concepts, but how that relates to the machine reasoning and what you think applications of that might be.
Yes,
would be really interesting to understand.
Yes, because of I think it's also linked to the maturity of the technology itself. So now I think if you look at the artificial intelligence into the various disciplines, machine learning and in the direction of deep neural network reinforcement learning are the one mostly understood, exploited, and the technology is ready and largely implemented. If you look at the applications today, are especially around over the top, I would say, on data, on information, on data.
Mm-hmm.
What we are thinking here is to exploit those capability not only for improving the performance of the system, because the machine learning pipeline as such has been already standardized by the ITU, we are now integrated into the 5G. What we want to do now is to really think of a system AI native that will have ability of connected intelligence, which has to go beyond machine learning, because machine learning itself has many flows. So I'm thinking of the many limitation it has even in terms of bias, and therefore I think it is essential for us to come along of an augmented artificial intelligence, which means practically that the machine learning must meet a machine reasoning, which is a broader approach to representing knowledge, and then it does have ability to process the particular knowledge and then make a decision on top, which will then be integrated into the knowledge transfer and knowledge instructions between peer entities of machine reasoning, which is as a symbolic type of representation, and the machine learning, which is pretty much a numerical tool.
Okay. No, that does seem like a big leap. I mean, we're going here from talking about, I guess, data to knowledge.
Yes, that's right.
As the sort of
Into
fundamental.
its various representations. So in the literature and in the industry, we have many ways of representing knowledge. And we need to make use of it.
Brilliant. There was something else that I was wondering. I mean, obviously, the more data, the more knowledge, the more AI in the network, in some ways, the more susceptible it's going to be to either being sort of fed, the wrong inputs or other kinds of attack that can take advantage of those kinds of, reasoning flaws or that kind of thing. And you mention in the paper the idea of a defense in depth strategy for future networks and systems, and it seems to me like this would be kind of the first time that a network would have been designed in this way. So it would be good to understand whether you've got sort of any specific elements that you think would be novel or new in this that you'd really want to highlight that we need to work on.
Yes, I mean, if we look at the technology today, 5G, for instance, end-to-end, what we have in practice is security controls enhanced from 4G into various aspects. So 4G was secure, and we wanted to make the security posture of 5G even stronger. Now I think it's time for us to go beyond that, because also connecting intelligence, we will be also subject to other type of threats, risks that we need to mitigate from day one. And that means we need to change the approach. We need to think of a system which is secure by design, leading to us to trustworthy solutions and resilient products. And I could give you some example of how the technology would need to evolve.
Brilliant. Yes, I mean, I think, for the sake of this interview, I don't think we should go too long, because people can read about this some more
Yes,
in
that's
your
right.
paper.
To find more.
But maybe one example.
Maybe we could give a quick example, say like touching upon privacy. So privacy today, we have a way of concealing the IMSI of the end user since the very first registration. And we are thinking now to go and adopt other approaches to provide and preserving privacy. And that would be using artificial intelligence as an enabler, because it would allow us to anonymize data in an irreversible manner, which is much more robust than using the current concealing function. Then, if we think about the integrity of the information we are having today in 5G, but also in internet in general, it is about hash function. For example, SHA-256, it is a common algorithm we're using. Now I think we need to move forward, and we are discussing distributed ledger technology. Here we have the blockchain that we are all familiar, and also thinking of how the cryptography is supported in 5G. We just have a one share secret that is basically the master key that is hidden in the core network, in the device, in the USIM, and it's all derived around it. It is secure, yes, definitely. But what about in the future, where we will have massive capability of quantum computing? So we think of going forward and support post-quantum cryptography, so that in the future, quantum computers cannot crack the information can be exchanged between peer entities. So just to introduce what is in the paper and in the references, because there's been done a lot of work, and the reader may also find more information through the list of references, of course.
Yeah, that's brilliant. Thanks, David. As you say, you've included a wide variety of links and references in the paper, so that's actually really useful. So yes, to those of you who've been watching, you can read about David's paper in the latest research section of 6G World. That's currently at the top of the list on that section. As I say, that's the 6G Fundamentals, Vision and Enabling Technologies. David, thank you ever so much for your time and for putting this together. We'll look forward to getting...
Thank you so much for having me and giving me this opportunity to work together and together share a vision that we will achieve by really through coordination and collaborations among us globally.